Welcome once again to Fatima Today. This is Kay Drowan, and I'm very pleased to bring a special program. This week we have in the area the escort to the statue of Our Lady of Fatima. This is the national statue, travels all over the United States, and one man brings the statue across the country. I want you to meet him, and he'll tell you about his adventures with Our Lady. Please meet Al Williams.
Yes, hello. Good to see you, Kate. But really, when you said I'm to go around the country like this, one little boy said to me, how come you're running around with Our Lady all these many years? It's been 19 years now that I've been privileged to carry this beautiful image all over the United States. But you see, the object is not just to show a beautiful wood carving coming to us from Fatima, Portugal, but then really to remind everybody about the words our Blessed Mother did speak to us long ago. And of course, the beautiful thing about this whole matter is that Our Lady gave us this fantastic promise when she said, now let me read it so I don't make a mistake now. Here you are. Our Lady said, in the end, my Immaculate Heart will triumph, Russia will be converted, and a period of peace will be given to the world. Now, who doesn't want to get peace in this world of ours?
Oh, that's right. Wonderful. That's the message. That's the fulfillment.
So this is the bottom line, really.
Yeah, that's great.
This is why I'm doing this. And of course, the way it came about, I suppose, it's telling you my life story, and that would be too long. I don't want to go into this. But I guess in summary, though, it did happen that one day, of course, I've been interested in this matter since I was a boy. I was in Vienna, Austria. See, my native country, like that's why one little boy says, how come you talk so crazy? Yeah. But
how long have you been in this country?
Well, actually, I was 14 when I came to the United States, you see. But I was in this Christian Brothers boarding school in Vienna, Austria, and it happened that I think these Christian brothers, they needled me sort of into this type of work. But then it came to a climax, really, when I did have a chance to go to Fatima, Portugal. And the way it worked out, really, that there were 35 people picked from all over the United States who have been working in this movement to a lesser or greater degree to take a course of studies there. And we did. In fact, my wife, now she will see you next week, by the way.
Oh, wonderful.
And she will tell you more about it. She can talk better than I can, by the way. Oh, yes, she doesn't stop, yeah. But anyway, but she will tell you more. But we did take this course of studies for, it was a whole entire 3-week concentrated course of all the fine points of Fatima. Then we received a diploma from the Bishop of Fatima. And the funny thing was, the day before I came back from Fatima, Mr. John Hafford, who is the lay leader of the Blue Army, who founded the Blue Army with Monsignor Colgan, as you might know.
Yes.
Of course, bless Monsignor Colgan, he died now a few years ago.
I know.
But really, John asked me, how would you like to work full-time for Blessed Mother Fatima? I said, now, wait a minute, Mamma Mia, please. And
now, how long ago was this, Al?
That was exactly 19 years ago.
19 years ago, you were invited to
do this. And
to do this. And you've been doing it for 19 years?
Well, that's what happened then. You see, soon after then, it was very strange then. A month and 3 days later, the Holy Father goes to Fatima, and he blessed this very beautiful wood carving, which, as I say, comes from Fatima, Portugal, and the same man made this beautiful statue, also made the one at Fatima too, you see. Anyway, Pope Paul blessed it, and then soon after that, as a matter of fact, it was November the 11th, 1967, you see, 19 years ago now.
You'll never forget.
Oh, no, I'll never forget that one. And that the statue was brought by the Bishop of Fatima to Columbus, Ohio. And, mind you, there were headlines in the secular newspapers, believe it or not. That's right.
It was a big event then.
Mamma mia. And then the bishop, Archbishop Carberry was the recipient of the statue in those days in Columbus, Ohio.
Yes.
So he got to be Cardinal Carberry in St. Louis, as you remember.
I do.
And then it turned out that I was in charge in those days, in charge of the seminar awaiting the statue's arrival. Now, I had no idea I'm going to run around like this afterwards.
Oh,
but it just came about like this.
I mean, the statue's coming, you're waiting for the statue, but you didn't know you were going to be the escort.
Never realized at all, you see.
Did anyone else realize it? Or
no
did this
one,
come
no,
about
no.
rather...
No, it just happened then, of course, that the statue stayed in Columbus a little bit, and then soon after I was appointed to be the continuous custodian of our Blessed Mother go around, because they found out very soon that unless someone is with the statue continuously to see, first of all, the talks are given, the presentation, and all, especially in the children's program. Like half of my program is really with the children anyway. So that all this is taken care of, plus the statue will come there in one piece, not be destroyed and all.
Yes.
So then I was appointed as custodian 19 years ago to be going around like this. I've been doing this all these many years into 116 dioceses all over the United States. And it's been, must be near 10,000 churches, hospitals, prisons. We go into prisons every so often. Beautiful. That's right.
Al, you know, that was an awfully big decision. You're being
that's true. That's true. Very strange.
Light about this, but
that's right.
You were asked to really give your life.
Well, this is in essence what it means. It's like almost being a religious, except it's, I'm a lay, I mean, I'm a father, but I'm the other kind of father. I'm no priest. No, I'm a father. Yeah, good thinking. Yeah. But anyway, you know, the way it worked out, that as a person I was privileged to make a choice like this, and somehow it worked out beautifully, and without realizing, I guess I was supposed to be doing this in the first place.
What were the difficulties you had to settle in your life before you could hit the road with this woman?
To do all that. Well, of course, many difficulties came about, because really, you see, years and years ago, believe it or not, I owned a bowling alley, of all things.
A bowling alley.
Fantastic. In New Orleans, Louisiana, believe it or not. It's a long story. And bowling, I'd sooner bowl than eat. That was my thing. And all of a sudden, the Lord said, now look here now. I want you to work for me. Never mind throw a ball down the alley. And the joke of it was, I was a darn good bowler. In fact, in those days, Joe Willman was the champion, the world champion. His average was 209, his composite average as a bowler, you know? And mine reached up to 204. So I had the world championship right on my fingernails.
Right.
And I said, oh boy, this is my life. And all of a sudden I was 33 years old at the height of my being, and looked like the Lord said, no, I want you to work for me. And I got into Catholic Church Extension Society's work, and then finally with the Blessed Mother, and that was it. See, it's strange how things came about.
Now, what do you attribute to that call from the Lord? Were you having a problem in your personal life at that time?
No.
How did you get the message?
No, I think, you know, many times I've been asked that very question, and I often wondered, how could I answer this? You know, but honestly, between you and the lamppost, as a kid, I always, of course, I used to be always was a good ball player. And somehow, I was always good, kind to those who were poor ball players, who were always the goat in each classroom. There's one poor goat, you know, one kid looked like everybody jumped on him. And somehow, I always felt that I wanted to always make up for them, or at least take care of them. And I think being good as a kid, I don't know whoever put me up, that most likely the Christian brothers did. But I think the Lord paid me off in this sense, that He privileged me to do this kind of work. And frankly, in my heart, I feel that this idea of really taking care of the underdog somehow. I don't know why I did it, but it was just part of me, looked like. And as years went on, I was privileged to do this wonderful work for heaven, you see. Because really, of course, we go around the Blessed Mother, but don't let's forget now, our Blessed Mother brings us to Jesus.
Right.
I mean, that's the whole idea.
Of course.
I mean, because, I mean, it's emphasized, as you probably know, like in the scriptures too, like when they ran out of wine, you remember? You know, wine is good thinking, right? Yeah. Anyway, so don't you know, it happened that they ran out of wine, and somebody must have told the Blessed Mother, what gives? And Blessed Mother said to Jesus, well, please, now, they're running out of wine. So Jesus said, I'm sorry, nothing I can do about it. My time hasn't come yet. And sure enough, our Blessed Mother, she turned Jesus around. And next thing you know, Jesus did what she asked him to do. You see, that's what we're doing. We're asking our Blessed Mother, please, you ask the Lord, you ask Jesus, please do this for me, Mamma Mia, please. You see, that's the whole idea, really.
Right.
So it's not adoring Our Lady. I mean, we're certainly not going to adore a statue, Mamma Mia, please. We honor Our Lady. We do not adore her. We honor her because Jesus honored her first. And this is why we do have a statue. See that?
Yeah.
See. And you want to know why we got statues in the first place?
I bet you're going to tell me.
Good thinking, yeah. Listen now, you know, it's really a joke. It happened that one day I picked up a book called The Angels by no other than Billy Graham. You know, God loved Billy Graham, yeah. Anyway, and in this book, Billy Graham gives me the quotation I was looking for. I knew it was in the Bible someplace. I just couldn't put the quotation together. And sure enough, there he gives me the quotation. It happened to be in the second book of the book of Exodus, which is the in the Old Testament, the second book in the Old Testament, okay? And the quotation is, I memorized it now, it's 25th chapter, 18th verse, that's right. And God is speaking to Moses, it's a direct quotation, and God is saying to Moses, he said, he wanted Moses to make 2 graven images of golden cherubim, of golden angels, to place them at the Holy of Holies, in the Ark of the Covenant. Like sometimes you see where the chosen people are carrying the Holy of Holies like this, and there you see 2 golden angels sitting on top there, you see. So the point was that God told Moses to make graven images, period. See, 12th, and then it just happens, though, that the next chapter, 26th chapter, 1st verse in the same book of Exodus, God is telling Moses to make pictures. You look it up. It's in there. That's right. So the point is, we have statues because God tells us so in the Bible, plain as day. And also in the second book of Chronicles, etc., etc. You see, you find it again. You see?
That's Al, that's very interesting, and I'm sure many of our viewers are not aware of that because often Catholics especially are criticized for having images. And they say, well, you're not supposed to have images.
That's right.
But there is a precedent. It had been set by the Lord himself in the Old Testament.
To adore a statue would be out of order.
Of course.
See, this is what God forbids, to adore. Of course, we're not going to adore a beautiful piece of wood, Mamma Mia, please, right? But we do honor, of course, a lady in this image to remind us a lady looked like this, very young looking when she came at Fatima, see, which then finally Paul blessed and so on.
It's a beautiful, beautiful statue. It really is. I'd like to go into some detail about the statue itself. If maybe you could join us in another program on that. But I'm more interested right now in hearing your story, Al, and you're still skirting the issue here. What happened with the bowling alley? I mean, did you have to sell the business?
You see, here was the catch.
I mean, did you have to give up
the details were this. I owned the alley, but I did not own the building. And one day I lost the lease of the building. And like I said, I was 33 years old. The whole world collapsed on me. I said, Mamma Mia, what have we here, you know? And there I was out. And then somehow then I got into religious works anyway with the Catholic Church Extension Society. Of course, I was with the Catholic Evidence Guild, which is a training course of lay people. It's almost like a seminary course that lay people would take, and I was part of that. And it sort of weaved into it. But then it came about, as I say, that I finally was able to go to Fatima, Portugal, to take this course of studies. And then, of course, I was always interested in it. But I'll say this now. When I was a young fellow now, in my late teens and even the early 20s, I always used to do one thing, read my Bible, read the New Testament, especially the New Testament, Old Testament somewhat, but mostly the New Testament. And I remember when the war hit, when there was Pearl Harbor, it was December the 7th, 1941, you remember?
Yeah, well, I don't.
And in my little book, in my little Bible there it says, December the 7th, 1941, 5 p.m. I was reading the Bible, even at that time. Just imagine, as practically a teenager, you see? And so it looked like I was always interested in this, in the words of God and all. And then, of course, the strange thing about it was this, too, now. Before I got hooked in with our Blessed Mother's now statue and everything, my big event was to promote the adoration movement with the Blessed Sacrament, like in church, you know, the people come adore Jesus in the Most Blessed Sacrament and so on, see? And that was my thing, and looked like Jesus led me to Mother Mary. See, unbelievable. It's happened like this, crazy.
Yes,
you know?
I know it.
But heaven works strange ways.
But for 19 years, have you supported yourself and anything
Well, with the
else?
finances, well, it's a joke really, too. With the finances, you see, I've always told people, too, that maybe you know it or don't know it, but St. Joseph, he too appeared at Fatima. I guess you know that, or you better know it, yeah, whoever you are, yeah. But anyway, but don't you know,
at one of the apparitions,
St. Joseph,
did appear with Mary.
St. Joseph, he takes care of your finances.
He does.
You see, he was the head of the family, so he had to take care of the money. What else, right? Good thinking. Is that good thinking?
That's right thinking, yes.
So what happened then? St. Joe, you pray to St. Joe, you see? So I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. One day, it was actually March the 18th is St. Joseph's Day, right? As you know. Okay. 2 days before that, I happened to be in Louisiana in one of the statue was in the church, but I was at a shopping center, and there were 2 Masons in full regalia uniform selling tickets for an automobile. So I said, oh, gee, I don't want to cooperate with these fellas. That's a no-no. So I snuck around them, but on the way back, they nailed me. They said, don't you want to buy a couple of tickets, $2? You might win this automobile. I said, Mamma mia, here go again. Okay, here's $2. Put your name there. Put your phone number there. I said, okay, goodbye, goodbye. And then I prayed to St. Joseph. I said, St. Joe, you got to do your thing.
Because you needed a car.
That's right. Oh, So here was what happened. So sure enough, the drawing then was the next Thursday. And then comes Friday, then comes Saturday.
And you hear nothing?
Nothing at all. All of a sudden, I make a phone call, and on the other end they say, listen, the Masons are looking for you. I say, what's up? You won that automobile. I say, Mamma mia. And it ended up that I ended up with $5,000. It was an Escort Ford car. And I said, well, I got a big old station wagon where I carry a Blessed Mother in, you see, so I'm going to stick a little Ford into the station wagon. So then they finally ended up giving me $5,000. I told them, please, couldn't you make it $5,500 because I had expenses. I had $2 for a ticket and everything, you know. They said, no, we're going to give you $5,000 and nothing. So St. Joseph took care. So there you are.
Isn't that wonderful?
See, it's a true story. I'm not making this up. No, this happened.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, I'm not going to tell you a line from our Blessed Mother.
Of course not. But for 19 years, have you been
chasing around up and down the country? That's right.
Going around the country?
11 months out of 12. You see, July you get vacation, but then it turns out that my relief man, he's actually an ex-seminarian, and he's a school teacher. And in July, he takes my place 1 month when I have vacation. He happens to be Joliet, Illinois, you see? Beautiful human being. And Guido Del Rose is his name. As a matter of fact, he may take my place now anyway because I'm supposed to be retired. I'm supposed to be retired 6 years ago, still running around with a Blessed Mother, Mamma mia. But anyway, he's going to take my place, God willing. And but he always has been doing this for 15 years already, taking my place in this apostolate like that. See, it's beautiful, see?
Now, I understand that you're a newlywed.
Oh, yes, Mamma mia, that's another thing happened. You see, my wife died. You know, people do die, you know.
Yes.
And don't you know she died? And I said, gee, that is something.
How long ago did your wife?
Actually, 13 years ago.
13.
And then it turned out that the secretary of the program, she's been directing the program for the last 15 years. Like, she'll call up bishops all over the United States, get the okay to have the statue come to the diocese. Then she'll contact lay people, like here's Louise Marciano and Frank Marciano right in your diocese right here, right there. And they in turn make up the program. They call up priests and all, and schools, and they cook up the program locally. Each month we go to different dioceses. She does all that, see? So then it turned out that her husband died too. So we thought, gee, Mamma mia, what are we going to do, you know? So we finally decided that, gee, why not close up our life together? See, we don't fight each other too much. We just fight a little bit, yeah.
I see.
So in that way, so we figured out, well, let's close up our life together. So last July the 5th, you know? And I'm not a chicken now. She's not a chicken either, you know. Because I'm not that old. It's just I've been around a long time. See, good thinking, yeah. So anyway, so we decided that we're simply going to do it, and this is what we did. So we got married and lived happily ever after.
How long have you been married? July 5th?
Exactly. July, let's see, it's just a few months.
Oh, this past July.
Yeah, this July. Oh, I don't mess around, you see that?
Oh, my.
Yes, indeed, that's right.
So now you're here. Are you leaving your new wife home?
Well, no, she don't want to stay home. She says, oh, that isn't, no. She says, oh, no, she's going to come with me, and she did.
So now she
travels with me. Yes, she's very beautiful. She takes care of the liturgy in back of the church and all, gives out the roses, everything, etc. She's a terrific help. Oh,
now,
it's unbelievable.
Where do you stay when you travel?
Mostly in rectories. In rectories, sometimes motels, sometimes private homes too. You see.
I see. Well, when you were traveling alone all these years, you probably were very welcome in rectories. How do they?
It works out middling good. Middling good. If not, then they have a motel for us or a private home. But often we stay in rectories together too. Yes, they're very gracious.
They welcome
very strange, but true.
Nice?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. It works out somehow. Yes,
oh, isn't that wonderful? Now, where did you you're here in this area. Where did you just come from?
Yes, well, of course, the last diocese, actually, the last parish right happened to be Bridgewater, you see. Bridgewater in Massachusetts. That's right. See? And
before you came to Massachusetts, where were you?
Yeah, believe it or not, the last diocese was all the way in Florida, where we happen to live now, too. And we were down there in little Florida, and West Palm Beach Diocese we happen to be. As a matter of fact, we got Bishop Daly from your part of the world.
Oh, yes.
He's the bishop down here. He was beautiful.
Oh,
he heard one of my talks and he was shook up nicely.
We agree with you.
Yes, he was very pleased. Yeah,
he's wonderful.
Oh, he's fantastico. Si.
Well, Al, you've come a great distance then to be with us.
Oh, yes, indeed. 1,400 miles.
1,400 miles.
Yes, indeed. Come right to your doorstep.
You and your wife made this trip over the road.
That's right.
With Our Lady.
And this automobile we have has 331,000 miles on it. So help me. I tell you another lie. It's true. Although the second motor, second transmission, true. It's a good little automobile. That doesn't blow up on anything.
I can't believe it. St. Joseph is keeping this automobile
that's what I'm saying. You got to get after St. Joe.
That's right. That is wonderful. You really do rely on the Lord. When the Lord said, don't worry about tomorrow, we have cares enough today, and I'm going to take care of you like the sparrows and the flowers of the field. My Lord, you take that and go with it, don't you?
It always does. In fact, my first wife used to say, you know, we don't even know where we put lay our heads. I said, what you squawking about? Our Lord didn't know where he was going to put his head either, so what you complaining about? But it always comes out. No problem.
That is a wonderful story. Al, it's really a pleasure meeting you, and I would love to meet your wife, and I'm sure next week she'll come. And we will visit with, what is her name?
Elizabeth. Mary Elizabeth. Ehart was the first name, now of course Elizabeth Williams. That's right.
Elizabeth Williams.
That's right.
And you say she's been involved in this work for a long time as well.
15 years she's been working in this apostolate too, as a secretary for the program.
I'm sure she has a nice story to tell too about why she got involved in this.
That's right.
And our audience, I know, is anxious to meet her.
Oh, yes.
And anxious to hear her story. I'm glad you can come back. And I want to tell our audience to tune in next week, Fatima Today. And if you have any questions or you want to write to Mr. Williams or his wife, please contact our apostolate, Post Office Box 243, Cohasset, Massachusetts, 02025. This is Kay Drowan. See you next week.
I pray to you, Our Lady of the Rosary, help me to understand the message that you bring. Please open up my heart that I may well receive the fullness of your message and your plan for peace. You came to us at Fatima that we might see how much we all offend our God. The sins of men must cease. We beg of you, Our Lady of the Rosary, obtain for us the grace we need for lasting purity. Grant me the grace to change my life and live for God, to offer up my cross to Him in daily sacrifice, to learn to pray your rosary and fill my life by dwelling on the mysteries in the life of Christ. lady, with your own pure heart, present it to the sacred heart of Jesus Christ, your Son. Through grace and mercy, he will take this heart of mine, united in the Eucharist with his own love divine. We thank you, Blessed Lady of the Rosary, for giving us your only Son, who died to set us free. Praise be to God the Father, and to God the Son. Praise God the Holy Spirit. Blessed Trinity.